From the city-states of Eorzea to the distant land of Tyrell and all of Atheris via the magic of podcasting, this is episode 71 of A Podcast Reborn, a show celebrating our journey in the past, present, and possible future of Final Fantasy XIV. This episode is being recorded on Sunday, August 17th of 2025. Following podcasts may contain mature language and almost definitely contain spoilers for anything in the game up through the Dawntrail 7.3 MSQ. You have been warned. My name is Brian Black, otherwise known as Ro, and before I get into this joke, I'm gonna let Megan decide this. Megan, do you want the Final Fantasy 14 funny bit or the non-Final Fantasy 14 funny bit?
Well, I mean, we're a 14 podcast. Probably be that.
Okay. So, on behalf of the Hrothgar and Viera players out there, I just want to say to the devs, hats off to you. Or, I guess now it's hats on to you? Anyway.
Hats exist.
Yeah, especially now in 7.3. With me as always are my two wonderful co-hosts. First off, we have our resident Chaos Gremlin, webcomic creator, and cat mom whose car, I think, was yelled at by a police helicopter. How did that go, Megan?
Okay. So, when you live in Los Angeles, you're going to hear police helicopters sometimes. So me and Ward are just like laying in bed. We have the window open because it's hot as balls. We hear a police helicopter, and it is like really close. And when they get really close, you'll often hear the and so. And usually you can't understand it because it's too far away or whatever, but I clearly hear you in the what was it? In the storage center or in the we know you're in there, come out. And I was like, I didn't think there was any we know you're in the warehouse, come out. And I was like, I didn't think there was any warehouses around here. Where it's like, yeah, there's a warehouse between like here and the main street. And I was like, oh, the street where you park the car? And he's like, yeah. And we're like, oh. So we're like, so we're just laying here listening, and we hear a few more like, and we hear like, disperse, don't be here, and we're like, oh god, what the fuck? And so we're just like, man, we have no idea what's happening. But eventually the helicopter goes away, and Ward checked on the car the next morning. It was fine, but it was just such a moment of like, oh no. But yeah, we don't live in like a bad neighborhood. It's just LA, man. Like every now and then something just goes fucking wrong. I remember one time I woke up to a text message from Ward and it was like, don't go near the windows. And I was like, what the fuck? And it turns out that there was like a hostage situation in one of the apartment buildings on our street. They had blocked off the entire block and he couldn't get into the house. He couldn't get into like, it wasn't our building. It was like down the street from us. And like, it wasn't like, some random crime situation. Like it was, but yeah. So that's exciting.
I'm supposed to be heading to that area in November.
Now, as someone who has lived just outside of Los Angeles, in Los Angeles County, I will say not everywhere in the LA vicinity is like that. Just some areas.
This is like over like living here for like 11 years, okay? And we've had like 3 incidents.
Okay.
None of them directly involved us. We just kind of like heard about them. Or like
it's not the law of averages for LA. I'll give you that. Yeah. Once every 7 years you have once every 3 or 4 years. Yeah, that works. Also with us is our blogger, machinist, and dice roller who likes to do things that amuse him. Apparently playing a paladin is not one of those things. Hi, Brandon. Brandon and I know what that clearing of the throat was about. If you want to know, check out Blue Sky.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm not apologizing for that. But we're not here to talk about that, so I'm going to stop talking about it. You all know what you're here for. Guys, I couldn't believe it. Turns out there's actually a female two-headed Mamool Jaw out there. Believe it or not, she's a singer, known for her sometimes strange performances. Her name, Lady Jaja.
I like it.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. I give it a 6, which is not bad. It's fair.
I don't care how much you give it. I laugh every time because I amuse myself.
Yes, you do things that amuse you. Anyway, it's been stuck in my head for hours, folks. You have no idea. All right. Speaking of things that amuse us, I'm hoping that this latest patch has amused us. 7.3 has been out for roughly a week and a half. Of course, not all the stuff that we might be looking forward to in 7.3 is out just yet. For instance, all the fun stuff with like the new deep dungeon and all that, and the next cosmic exploration zone, that's still down the line. But we did get the new Alliance raid, MSQ edition. There's some changes to cosmic exploration. We got a new dungeon, a new trial, new treasure maps, treasure map dungeon with slot machines and stuff. PvP changes, quality of life stuff, chat bubbles, hats for Hrothgar and Viera, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Hey, there is a giant cat mount. Photorealistic cat.
And a giant cat mount, that is true. A crazy giant cat mount, which, Megan, do you have it yet?
No, I don't have it yet. I saw it on TikTok. I was like, that has to be a mod. That is just a cat.
Is it a shop mount, or do you get it in game somewhere?
It's a shop mount.
That's what I figured.
Mount.
Yeah.
A mount like that, yeah, that's a shop mount.
But yeah, so one of the like machinima people that I follow on TikTok was like, yes, I got it immediately because I have no chill, and it was like her and all of her friends. Like it does like a little like big stretch as like its animation. It looks fucking adorable, and I was like, well, this person does a lot of mods and stuff for their machinima. Maybe this isn't real. And then I was like, I like opened the launcher and it was like, buy the new mount. I was like, oh Jesus Christ,
it's quite real.
It does exist.
They know
and it
their
does a big stretch emote. And yes, it does a big stretch emote. So to me, that sounds absolutely perfect.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They like I said, they know their target audience. They know what they're doing, at least as far as that goes. Do they know what they're doing as far as other stuff goes, though? This is kind of I generally do this around every content launch before we dive deep. I just knee-jerk 1 to 10 ratings on a scale of 1 to 10 right now. Just what we have out there. Brandon, what do you give the 7.3 stuff so far?
Just on the whole, or are we talking about anything specific?
The package as a whole, and if you want to give a specific score to any like part of it, feel free.
I'll give the MSQ overall maybe a 6.5 or a 7. I did not see the twist at the end coming. I'll give them that much. Frankly,
what was the twist?
You know what it is, Megan. It's always those goddamn Asians.
Oh. No, I the second they were like, he's doing a sub, I'm like, Asians.
I was holding out hope that they'd go something a bit more like, oh, he picked it up from like, Lost Tomes or whatever. Nope. The minute we saw that robe, I'm like, oh, for the love of God, I thought we were done with these people. And then I got reminded that there are, at minimum, 2 of the convocation unaccounted for. Possibly as many as 5, depending on how you interpret certain lore bits. I gotta say, though, the absolute best part of this patch for me, the late Allegan armor sets finally have 2-channel dying.
Oh, the Kryl hood.
Oh, yes, and the Kryl hood, yes.
You could dye the Kryl hood other colors. I've been putting it on every fucking outfit. Oh my God. It's so cute. And I'm doing the MSQ. So I made like a whole like goth outfit with a black Kryl hood. So I'm running around in the MSQ. It's like me and Kryl are like hood pals, but then I'm also like a goth cat with Y'shtola. Oh, it's great.
The best of both worlds.
Given your affinity for being a Chaos Goblin, I'd have thought you'd have dyed it orange.
Well, no, I'm a fashionable Chaos Goblin.
Of course. What was I thinking?
I did a whole yellow outfit for it before, but yellow's just not my bag, baby.
Are you folks ready for a hot take?
Sure.
Always.
I did not like the MSQ.
Okay, look, I was.
A lot of people are pretty happy with it. A lot of people are like relatively satisfied with it. I have feelings and reasons that I do not like it.
So I was like going into the final trial, and I was like, "You're a third-rate fan, Daniel, with a fourth-rate end singer, bitch." I literally am like, Yoshi P, are you okay? Because if my friend is like, I'm gonna take you on a great summer vacation, and then they sit me down and are like, we're gonna talk about mortality and the fear of death and how everyone dies and how you have to accept that, I'd be like, bro, what the fuck? Are you okay? What's happening? Oh god. And I'm also like, we just had this whole Endwalker expansion where we went into the like immortality, the inevitability of death, and like the draw of entropy and depression and the call of the void, and we're doing this again. We really do not need this again. And like
at this point, and again, what I am saying, I am sure is going to be very contrary to how a lot of people feel about the state of the MSQ and the story in Final Fantasy. I practically demand that the way the MSQ gets corrected is it's very simply like this. 7.5, yes, that is your lead into the next expansion, the next big part of the saga, and new Ascians, and who's that rogue person, and all that. I've got more feelings on that in a second. But 7.4, I swear to fucking Heidelin, needs to be the I don't give a fuck beach episode. We get our vacation episode. I want Y'shtola in whatever swimwear of her choosing. I want all the guys in their hot looks too. So there's equal eye candy treatment for all. We need the beach episode for 7.4. We need that palate cleanser from this bullshit of an MSQ.
I agree. I'm so when we introduced Alexandria and the whole soul system and the whole like the living memory and all that shit, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh god. And
here's the thing. It's like
it's one of the things same as the first, but also because we don't have anywhere near as much build up or like stuff to like call back to or like
and that's the thing, right? The whole one of the whole things about this that I was excited for about 7.3 and the end of it is I was excited for the hint of what was to come next. So I knew like they always have that final end scene and stuff. And so we get to that end scene. Now, was I surprised when Calyx reappeared? No, because the way they showed him getting obliterated just as the thing is uploading, it's like, oh, they're totally going to have him come back because it's just as the thing is almost done. And then, I'm sorry, even if he's a memory digital wearer like that, if you don't see a body, he's not dead. So seeing Calyx reappear in that final end scene didn't surprise me one bit. I'm like, okay, they're going to keep this guy around for a bit. That's fine. That's fair. I'm down with that. I got so angry. Like I was physically grinding my teeth when I saw an Ascian or something that looks like an Ascian, because I'm like, I feel like if this was the plan all along, I really hope that it goes somewhere that feels interesting and new, because again, it's kind of like this whole Dawntrail, the whole Dawntrail experience, and not unintentionally, has been kind of a microcosm of the whole experience of Realm Reborn through Endwalker. And to see that we're starting over and we start over with a new chapter again, and the cliffhanger is, Ascians? There are other more creative things that could be happen. That the whole preservation could have been its own thing. Preservation could have been bigger than what it was. I'm just the ending feels uninspired to me. I'm not excited about more Ascian stuff because I'm like, did I expect us to return to Ascian stuff? Sure. But man, give it a couple of expansions. Let yourself explore some new territory, some new ground, and stuff like that. Why did they go back into the Ascian Well? Because they're losing their fan base. At least that's okay. That is my opinion of why they decided to get back into the Ascian Well. Yes, they're losing players. Yes, their financial report shows that they're losing money and stuff like that. Of course, they plan this stuff far in advance, and I get that too. But it just this feels uninspired to me. It just feels so freaking uninspired, and I was just the trial itself was fun. I saw that having played Final Fantasy IX and knowing that this had a lot to do with Final Fantasy IX callbacks and stuff like that, I knew before we were even fighting this thing that we were going to fight Necron. And when I saw Necron, and then I took a screenshot of the party as they're about to fight Necron and stuff, which kind of echoes a screenshot in Final Fantasy IX to find Necron. So like the nostalgia hits and stuff like that, yeah, nailed it. The fight was great. It was fun. It was the kind of fight that even makes me consider possibly trying the EX version. It didn't feel cakewalk easy, and it didn't feel like, oh my God, I would never even think of trying the EX version of this trial. It was perhaps for me the best trial in Dawntrail. But in terms of story, I was so disappointed. I was so let down. And I hear all these people are like, oh man, they stuck the landing and stuff like that.
Oh.
Well, it feels weird to me that I feel so different from a lot of people on it. And I'm not saying everyone else is wrong. I mean, everyone's going to have their own opinion. All this stuff is subjective and such. It didn't do it for me. I'm glad that it's doing it for a lot of other people. And I'm glad that a lot of people that I've seen react to this and talk about this, either they're optimistic or at least they're not disappointed. I'm in the minority on this. Absolutely. But that's just where I'm at.
See, I think it was fine. It followed logically where everything was set up. I just think that like doing this whole meditation on death was kind of a problem from the beginning, and it's especially like if this was like the next expansion after this expansion, it's just doing two like, oh, we're gonna talk about legacy and mortality and like dealing with death and everything like back to back, and especially promising me my goddamn summer vacation, you know? Like,
yes, we need the palate cleanser in 7.4. I swear, we need that beach episode. Just give us one goofy 7.4 story that has next to nothing to do with anything else. Let them have some fun on Tulielal, have some hijinks happen. Hell, you know what? Let the Hildebrand story and the Scions actually meet up and have anime bullshit happen in 7.4. I'd be down for that. Let it happen just this once, and then we move on.
The only character, well, okay, I loved the whole the I don't know, the will and the resolve and all that. I love the whole thing for the throne. I love Gulja. He's adorable and he's a very good boy, best boy. But like all of the Alexandria stuff, I'm like, absolutely, this was unnecessary. And like, I get that we're trying to do some deeper themes and like, what does it mean to be remembered? Is it worth it living forever? You're just going to stagnate, blah, 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 blah. But like, oh my God, absolutely. And to introduce it all so late into the story, number one, and like to like flip the things that were like the tone, the themes, everything on its head at such a late point in the story. Like it's not even, I don't know. And it's so like you watch, I was at fucking FanFest when the opening cutscene for going for Dawntrail came out. It was so bright, it was so happy, and it was so cool. And it was like, yes, this is what we need after Endwalker, of like, we get to go have a fun ass adventure. And like for the first half, I was like, yeah, I know people are like, oh, I don't like Woklima. Like this is dumb. I'm like, you're dumb, okay? And you hate fun.
Thank you.
This is great. And then they're like, oh, but now suddenly fucking robots attack. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. It is an interesting thought experiment with like the souls and the death and all that, sure. But like, oh my God, we already just dealt with like grief and death, and like we literally beat up the personification of entropy and depression. Like, can we not? And then the fact that like the final boss is literally another manifestation or like personification of like fear of death and mortality and like entropy, and like, oh my God, we just did this. Are you kidding?
So one thing I need to bring up, which did amuse me, and unfortunately this isn't going to be like I'm the only one who noticed, but I'm wondering if you two noticed, because other like content creators and stuff like that have brought this up too, and I'm glad they did, because I thought it was pretty amusing. When you get to that part where Necron's there and the darkness bullshit is happening, and you see all the characters in your party around you and stuff like that are suffering and all like that, and the camera's on your character and you're just standing there. You're not affected by the bullshit at all. It's like, yeah, I've been here, done that. Bring it on, bitch.
Thank you.
I had Ensinger's tears literally like yeet me off a platform. Okay, fuck you. That's why I was literally like, oh God, you're a third-rate fucking Fan Daniel with your fucking fourth-rate Ensinger. Get the fuck out of here. And like, the whole time, and also like when they're like, where do you think a man made of data is? I'm like, he's in the computer.
Are you saying there's a ghost in the machine?
Oh God, it was so dumb. And like, all of the like, yeah, we're gonna go poke around this lab and like solve little puzzles and shit. I'm like, I don't like this. This is boring.
Okay, there is a wonderful game on Steam, which I've actually played a bit with Zim of offline, called Escape Room Simulator. Keep the escape room stuff in that game. I
so the
escape room stuff in my MMO.
If I want to play an escape room, I will go find one. That's not what I came here for. But like,
I liked the whole escape room puzzle. I had a lot of fun figuring all that stuff out.
There was one part that was good about that, and you both know what it was.
Which one?
Did you open the locker?
Yeah.
Yes, Jesus Christ. The entire time
I got a laugh out of that.
We're just going to close this and we're never going to mention this again. So the whole time, though, it's like, we're going to go we're going to go kill Calyx. Like, let's go stuff a nerd in the locker. Oh my God. It's like, yeah, sure, Calyx is, I guess, a philosophically interesting protagonist or antagonist, and like, yeah, okay, sure, he logically makes sense, he's fine, but it's like, it's too soon. and he's not fleshed out enough, like,
and that's another thing too. It's like the Calyx that we saw for most of the story and stuff like that was fine, and yes, I want to know more about that Calyx. The Calyx I don't want to know about is the third-rate Fan Daniel you see in the final scene. He's not acting like Calyx at all, and not like he did before. And I guess, yes, maybe that is the point. Maybe the point is what he was showing before was just a mask, just a pretense. If that's the case, well, that's kind of a bummer. But this guy who actually, gets upset and angry and stuff like that, I'm kind of like, you're no Emmett Silk. You're not even close.
Well, I'm like,
we got a whole nother expansion coming to flesh him out a little bit more, along with whichever member of the convocation he's working alongside with.
That was kind of what I liked about him, was that he actually got like scared that he was going to die, and I felt kind of bad for him in that moment. I was like, oh shit, well, I'm still putting you down, like, fucking Owen Wilson throwing the iMac at the end of Zoolander.
So Brandon, you gave it basically 6.5, right?
Yeah. I definitely can echo your sentiments that Calix definitely could have stood to have a little bit more build up. He did feel like he came out of nowhere, even if he was kind of like obliquely mentioned in the background of like the latter half of the base game MSQ.
They needed to make it more clear that like something more was going on, or
I can absolutely agree with that. There was a lot about preservation that could have stood to be expounded upon as a setup for the 0.1 through 0.3 patches.
It felt like to me like the thing that World of Warcraft loves to do, where they're like, "Oh, you thought that was the big bad? Well, there was actually a bigger, badder bad who was pulling the strings the whole time." I'm like,
there's a big bad responsible for the Lich King.
we did press the reset button after Endwalkers, so we are at that point in the story where they're allowed to say, "Oh, but there's a bigger threat than this. Ooh, but there's a bigger threat than that." You're allowed to do that 2 or 3 times before you have your big climactic finish, and then you reset again.
You can have a bigger bad and like something more threatening. It's just I hate it when it's always like, "Oh, you thought you knew what happened, but no, there was a secret entity who was actually pulling the strings the whole time." Like that's what I hate. It's not like, "Oh, we discovered a new threat that's actually more threatening." It's like, "Oh, this new threat was actually the one that secretly did all the things that made you upset before." So
it would be lame if like Emmett Selk actually there's a mastermind behind Emmett Selk. That would be lame. Yeah.
That would be extremely lame. I don't think they're going that route. I think they're basically trying to be like, okay, we know all you lore nerds have kept track of how many, members of the Convocation you've dealt with. We dropped some hints that some of them may or may not be dead, ones that you didn't actually see die. We know that you're concerned, hey, when are you going to get back to this particular lore element of we got a few remaining Ascians to clear up. And as we've shown, even without the unsundered ones around to guide the ship, the fragments, for lack of a better word, are still just as dangerous. Cough, Van Daniel, cough. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get back to letting you kill them soon.
I am hoping beyond hope. If we have to go to this Ascian-like kind of thing again, if we're going to these robed individuals, these winters and stuff like that, I hope that one of them ends up being one of the sundered parts of the Warrior of Light. Just like you have Ardbert was the first reflection of the Warrior of Light. If one of the bad guys was a reflection of the Warrior of Light, that would be kind of cool.
That would be interesting. I don't think it can be an Ascian just because we know that we were once part of the Convocation as a specific individual, and they don't really uplift people who are not a fragment of the Convocation into being, that Ascian again. But to have one of our Sunder pieces be like someone they're manipulating, that could be very interesting.
Well, I mean, that is Ardbert.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I think it would be cool to have like a more Ascian Asm thing happen, but I also don't know if that's because like we have the soul crystal, like I'm pretty sure that we're the closest to being the complete. So if anyone was going to get Ascian, it would be us, but we're like, no, thank you. But yeah, I'm just like, I would say for me, it's like a 5. It's like totally serviceable. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I was entertained moment to moment. There were some really stupid moments and some very silly shit. And why was the camera constantly just zooming in on people's faces and having them stare directly into the camera? I'm like, is this a documentary? What is happening? Like, are we on The Office? What the fuck? But like,
I didn't notice that.
I didn't either.
God.
I'll have to look at someone play through it to check that out, because if that's true, that's really interesting.
Anytime like all the Scions were around, it would be like, it's time for a Scion reaction montage, and it would just like zoom into their faces and then look right in the camera and be like, well, I agree. Oh yeah. Well, they're underestimating us. I was like, oh my, what is happening? Is this a visual novel? What happened? And I thought that the friggin' Svien's talk no jutsu to like, oh, I have to let me just win over everybody's fear of death by saying like, hey, death sucks, but like remembering people who died is also good. Like, oh yeah, okay, that helped somehow. What?
The power of friendship.
That's the other thing. Their solution to like the fear of death sucked ass. Like,
I mean, what else? What else could it have been? They heard a voice that they all generally have an extremely high opinion of, telling them, "Hey, you've been struggling with this. Let me, bring you reassurance."
They needed to write some moving shit, and they did not. They needed to make me sit here and like cheer up a little at her words, and they did not. That's the thing. If you're going to bring everything down to someone gives a very moving speech and it turns the tides, you have to bring your fucking A game on that speech. And I did not feel it. And I like teared up like when they were having their little grief council about like Geode, some dude I'd never given 2 seconds thought to. But like
I don't think that, if I may be mistaken, but I don't think Ishikawa's currently the lead writer for this stuff, right?
I don't think so.
I have no idea. I don't keep track of who's in what position anymore.
So I'm wondering, it could be, I mean, it could be also a bit of a twofold problem. It could be, one, it just doesn't feel like what we're used to because it's not written by Ishikawa. If that is the case, I'd honestly have to like look back and check. But also maybe there was something lost in translation, which I mean is on the translation. But I wonder if if Japanese players feel the same way about the speech. It could be that, it's very possible that the speech was a lot more, it had more meaning and a lot more moving when, said in the native words.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was happy that Sveen finally decided, you know what? My people need me. I know they're going to be confused about, their queen was gone and now she's back again. But it's still my responsibility. They're my people. I love them. I'm going to do what I can, and what I can do, aside from doing cool, summoner shit, is reassure them, because I'm a voice they're used to hearing.
It's all logical. It all follows point A to point B. What I don't like is the execution, and I feel like the premise itself from the beginning is flawed. And so, like, to fix this one moment out of everything, like, yeah, that would have improved everything overall, but it's like, that's not the only thing that needs to be fixed. And it's also like, I don't know, I would have just done something, but have had her be like, my people, and then like cut, and then we don't hear what she says, and like, we just like, we see the battle going on, and we see that Sveen is like talking in the background, and we, so we can make up in our minds what her incredible moving speech was. Like, if you're not capable of writing, at least getting me choked up a little. And I know that they are capable of that. It just felt so fucking cheesy. It felt cringe. And like, I love cringe shit, but it was not enough. And it was like, she needed to like really bring it home. Like, I lost my parents, and it was so hard for me when it happened. And like, death is terrifying for all of us. And like, but their memories kept me, like, she spoke in such like vague like platitudes of like, sometimes the night is dark. I'm like, girl, what? But in the morning it's warm. Huh?
Yeah, she could have spoke about Otis and her guard. I forget the
Lydia or something with an L. Anyway, but it needed to be like personal, and it needed to be moving, and also like they needed to. I'm not blaming the actress for this at all, but they needed to like direct her, because I know she's capable of like being like having like a quivering, sad voice, and like really like I thought the Queen Sveen and all that stuff, like I genuinely felt like bad for her, and like that was a good performance. Like, I know she's capable of it. They needed to give her that direction. Be like, this is you pouring your heart out to everyone. And like, it needed to be her pouring her heart out, not just, sometimes the night is dark and that sucks, but then you remember people that you loved and you feel better. What? Excuse me? Bitch? What? Terrible. That is the most. That's like, if you've ever experienced grief, that is the kind of shit that like somebody like comes up and like says to you, it just makes you feel so much worse. Of like, don't be sad. So be sad, but then remember them and feel better. And it's like, what? Oh.
Happy thoughts.
And so, that'd be. I wouldn't be harping on it if it wasn't like literally the linchpin for like the turn of the tides. And I agree that it makes perfect logical sense for Sven's character and for the story and everything that's going on. It's just like the speech itself is not good enough.
Yeah,
I think I need to get back on the stick with one of my alts and get to that point in the story so I can see it again without, the whole, it's new. And I'm, trying to enjoy every second as I go along just to see if maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was in the particular moment.
Like I'm a little bitch. It is so easy to make me cry. Like if you did not get an emotional reaction from me, like, oh my God, I cry at like sad commercials. Like, come on.
I mean, I have been through like some pretty hard grief in my life, and I don't remember having that visceral of a reaction to like empty platitudes that I felt were coming out of her speech. But again, this is one of the reasons why I enjoy spoilers so much is because I can, have a better sense of, reacting to it in the moment when I know like what is being said. So I think maybe I just need to go through it again on a different character and see, okay, was this not near as good as I felt like it was?
I just felt like they did have some moments where I felt like they were being genuine and talking about loss and grief and stuff. And then there were moments where it just felt like we're checking off things, we're being inspirational, we're we have something deep to say and we gotta say it. I don't know. Like, I really even felt like Kryle's parents was not, I did not feel any sort of gut punch there. Like, it was just sort of like, oh, I guess this was nice for her. And like, yeah, I guess she got some closure, but I didn't have that moment of like, oh, you got to see your parents again. Oh, it's so sad. Like, that's what should have been happening. I should have been in a puddle.
That's meant to be awkward, though, right? Because they literally did not know each other. So yes, it was going to be awkward. I mean, I think there's a desire on both sides for like Kryle's parents and Kryle for there to want to be, that emotion and that caring and stuff like that. But these are people who never really got to know one another.
Yeah, but that's still her parents.
Sure.
Like, even if, I don't know, like I never got to know my great grandmother. But if I somehow entered a freaking simulation where I got to see a perfect one-to-one creation of her memory, even if it was a little awkward at first, it would end up with me like hugging her and crying and like having some sort of emotional reaction. And like, maybe it's just because it's like very Japanese.
Yeah, I was going to say there could be some different cultures experience happening here.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It felt like they wanted to tug those deep emotions out of you, but they didn't go there at the same time, or like,
is it also possibly that we're a bit desensitized to that stuff
also
because of how hard they tugged at those strings in previous content?
Yeah, and also those strings were a lot more strongly attached last time, and like,
they were a lot more strung out.
That's the thing. Like, they've been building up these characters and this story for like 3 expansions at least, like at minimum, and other things they've been building up since the beginning of the game. And like, it was a big grand finale conclusion. And like, this was just like, hey, your parents are gonna die. Like, okay, great, thanks. Yeah, cool. Like, maybe you should call your mom. Like, okay, thanks, Dad. Yoshi. I'm just like, it's like Yoshi P, like, oh, did he have a big health scare? Is he like, oh God, I gotta make sure that I'm like right with everyone? Like, what is going on, bro? I'm worried. Please. You promised me summer vacation. I want a vacation.
The lead composer had one back during Endwalker.
Oh yeah. And his music is incredible still. Like,
yep.
But I'm just like, why again? Why? We just did this.
And as much as I want that palate cleanser in 7.4 that I keep on begging and pleading for in this episode, I don't think we're going to get exactly that kind of thing, because I feel like if we got that kind of palate cleanser, I feel it would rub a lot of people the wrong way.
I have to agree. Like, I'm fine if it happens for like a couple of quests, but an entire MSQ patch where it's just goofy shenanigans, I'd feel a little cheated.
I get that, and
unless I will give you two conditions in which I would not in any way object to this. Number one, all that nonsense you were speaking about Hildebrand, no. You keep that mother trucker far away from my MSQ. You piece of. Anyway,
you don't want Y'shtola to try to stop a Nasha bomb?
No, God, absolutely not. I want to pretend Hildebrand doesn't exist once I get done with doing the content because I feel I have to.
Okay, what about Hardboiled? Is he okay?
No. All of them. The only person from that content I was happy to see again was the what the heck was his name? Inspector Briarden. When he showed up in the Scholastica questline in Ishgard. It's like, okay, fine. This could actually be like impactful and not full of crap. Anyway, the other condition, you know what? If we invite everyone from Oblivion to come along and all the beautiful ladies just spend the entire MSQ in swimsuits, yes, please. Stop glaring at me, Karen.
So
you know, wait.
I have to wonder if we check your search history, would Rule 34 shale be in it? I'm just wondering.
We got to spend 2 weeks alone in her room.
No, it won't, because I know how to clear my history. Thank you.
Okay.
I will say the character animation has gotten way too good, because like Shale's little like lip tremble when she was like holding Geode's fucking like soul core. I was like, oh no, like that. That's what I like. They can do it. They can get to me, which is why it was so frustrating when it was like they need to get to me and they didn't. But anyway,
you know what? Come to think of it, Geode basically biting the big one there. That hit me in the chest harder than anything during the Necron stuff, for sure.
I agree.
That was a rough one.
Yeah.
Also, if he ever comes back as an endless, would that make him Neo Geode?
Oh my fucking God.
Oh no.
So they need to just let his ether out so he can return to the live stream. Like,
you'll see. Yeah.
That was the other thing where I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, we're preserving their memories and like using their souls. And I'm like, the soul's the thing that returns to the live stream so they can be reborn. We're like using that as a battery, as like a currency. What the fuck? Like, they never really addressed that, because it's not like we all have beliefs about the afterlife. Bitch, I've been there. Like,
to be fair, this entire, like, everything we've learned about souls in the course of this game, like especially with Endwalker, where it's like eventually your soul just, becomes power washed of all of its memories, and your energy gets used in the creation of new life. I
think that soul leaves you lose all of your memories, but some essence of you returns. Like, maybe it's your personality, maybe it's like some of your likes and dislikes, but like you don't know that they come from a past life, or you don't know, you're like, there's some continuity of something, because we see people get
mind. Yeah, some
not mind, not memory, but we do see people that like look similar, or that like share similar traits or whatever. So like there's clearly some sort of continuation. Like it is sort of a very Buddhist ideal of rebirth, that like the fact that we literally went down to the live stream and we interacted with the souls of our friends who are dead and our enemies who are dead, and we kicked their ass again.
Yeah, I don't know. I propose a new category of horror. Instead of body horror, this game is giving me a heck of a lot of soul horror.
Yeah, it's like existential horror. It's like,
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get a little vulnerable here for a second. I routinely have existential crises about the fact that I cannot experience reality objectively. I experience it from the perspective of myself. I am locked into my body and I cannot view reality as though I'm a person reading a book.
Are you ever like in a car or like out in public and you just get hit with this overwhelming dread that everybody else is also like a completely sentient person and there's all these different perspectives around you that you'll never experience?
Yes, very much so.
Oh God.
Yeah, and so the idea of when I die that my soul, if such a thing even exists, does not persist into some form of afterlife or some form of rebirth, and for all intents and purposes, from my perspective, reality will cease to exist because I am not around to perceive it.
Mhm.
That kind of thing really screws me up on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah.
And so the more we hear about the afterlife in this universe, the more I'm like, this sounds horrifying unless there's some like system in which, maybe once your soul is, I hate to keep using the term power wash, but that's all I've ever heard the community call it. Once your soul is like removed of all its memories, do you get to experience, a new life and being able to objectively, or not objectively, like perceive reality as a different being? I really wish they would go in on that and explain it, because as it stands, death in this game is terrifying.
Yeah. And
For
the fact
me, it's go ahead.
the fact that they seem very divided on like what the fuck happens to your corpse. Like sometimes they just ether poof, sometimes they just lay around and rot. Like, what the fuck? But also just I like it. I think that it's like you die, you get to watch the highlight reel of your life, and even like you get to see like the top down perspective, and you get to be like, oh, that's why that happened. And then you get power washed, and then you get reborn, and like there's like, you get to go again, but you don't get to remember it. Like that to me as a system of life and death and rebirth sounds fine. Like,
yeah, that's fine. I just would like to know confirmation that that's what's happening in this game.
Yeah, and also just the we're using their souls as like a go again coin. I'm like, what the fuck? Does that mean you're even still you then?
Yeah, that also
soul
is really messed up.
With your memories? Like, did you actually die then, and then a new soul came into you and then got loaded up with all your memories, and then that soul's going forward? Like, is there continuity of consciousness? That's the big thing, like, that I'm hung up on, is continuity of consciousness. Ward has to hear about this all the time.
I did not think that this would get so deep, and for me, my existential crisis is simulation theory.
Oh yeah, well,
that is just all a simulation.
So I've been playing the horror game where you are literally a copy of someone's brain.
Soma.
Yeah, and like the whole thing for me is like continuity of consciousness of if they made a copy of you and it had all your memories, would that be you? And I'm like, no, because this brain, this like meat suit creature will end, and then the copy will continue. But like I'm obliviating, or I'm going on to whatever afterlife happens. But like the copy is continuing, not me. It's like the same thing as like, if you died and they cloned you, it's like you live again. It's like, no, it's like my twin sister gets to go on. Like that's not me.
There is a fringe theory that holds that anytime anybody uses a transporter in the Star Trek franchise, that exact same thing happens.
Yeah. Oh, I've read horror stories about that.
Yeah.
Where, and like in Star Trek, that seems almost confirmed, because aren't there like accidents where like somebody comes through, but they didn't actually disappear on the other end, and now there's two of them? Is that where like the whole evil twin thing comes from?
I think it's implied that isn't supposed to be the way it works under normal circumstances, but I don't know that that's ever been explicitly stated.
I would
it's
be
terrifying.
I would be a transport Luddite. I would absolutely fuck not. No. Oh, Jesus. And that's the thing of like just the fact that I am a meat computer and I'm full of weird ass components that can go wrong at any time. It's like that's the thing. This expansion is rife for exploration, but like it needed to either be a whole expansion, or it needed to be thought out better, it needed to be set up better, it needed to be slapped on at the end of my my summer vacation. And then like poorly dredged through in like 3 patches. Like, come on, man. And like we just had a whole death legacy memory expansion, and now we're having like a soul memory fear of death and mortality expansion. I'm like, come on, bro, please what is going on? And also, like, read the room, bro. Times are rough right now. Yeah. I don't need my happy little cat girl to be going through an existential crisis about all this shit. Okay? Come on. I don't need to see my happy buddy boy have to, like, talk to his mom who is technically already dead. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Oh, poor Aaronville.
I know, right? Oh, my God. Well, Aaronville hit me super hard because, like, it felt very similar to, like, what I went through with my dad, and that, like, my dad would not acknowledge that he was dying. I just tried to, like, keep everything light and casual the whole time, and I'm so, like, the whole time I'm, like, screaming at Aaronville, like, Aaronville, talk to her. It's gonna, oh my God, you're gonna regret it, do it. But it's like, I don't need that, bro. Like, shit. Everything's on fire. I wanted to come here for a happy Nazi Yasumi. That's what you promised me. But also, it's like you see it also in just like movies and stuff. A lot of pop culture now is turning brighter and happier because we need the escapism. Like, just in general. I know that's funny for me, coming from me, the horror movie.
I was gonna say,
Weapons is funny as fuck. Okay, I enjoyed the hell out of it. It did not fill me with dread. And like, I do love, okay, here's the thing. I know a lot of people are like, Megan, you have anxiety. Why do you like horror movies? And I'm like, it's like a roller coaster. It's like, I get to go through and process these emotions, and it's a completely safe space. These are not anybody I know. This is not something that's hopefully ever going to happen to me. And like, I can witness it. I can like experience it vicariously, and I can like process it. Like, also, I can be extremely entertained. The other thing is like horror is one of the most creative genres that is going, and especially now, like we don't see any creative like small to mid-budget movies anymore. It's all horror movies, or it's like horror movies or superhero movies. Those are like the two kinds of movies they make now. But yeah, man, it's funny because like my brother is like the exact opposite. He's like, I was trying to watch horror movies with him, and he was like, "Fuck no, man, life's scary enough. Why are you watching this?" I'm like, makes me feel better.
So there's a lot of 7.3 that we haven't talked about, and I think I'll actually put a lot of that off for next episode, because there may be even more to talk about. But there is one kind of side thing that I want to bring up that people haven't really been talking about too much, but I've been kind of paying attention to it timing-wise. So we're here at 7.3. We don't know when the next fan fest is.
Oh boy.
And that's kind of weird.
It is.
Because by 6.3 there were fan fest announcements. The fact that we don't know when the next fan fest is, and I would imagine it'd be Japan first, it has me wondering, is the timeline of things still going to be the same-ish? Will the next expansion play by different rules or not? I mean, we have no idea, but I find it curious that there has been no FanFest announcement. And I wonder if some of that had to do with maybe like the logistic problems that they ran into with the last set of FanFests. I mean, Megan, you can speak from personal experience. The Las Vegas FanFest was fun, but a fustercluck.
Yeah. There were a lot of I think it's just like American fans are different from Japanese fans, and so you can't really run an American convention the way you would a Japanese convention. And there's a lot of stuff that like there's also just like this Japanese attitude of like rarity and like limited whatever. And so it's like in America, if you're going to a convention and they're selling a unique good at that convention, you expect every single person who goes to that convention should be able to get one. But no, in a Japanese convention, even getting in the door is not a guarantee. You have to like line up early to get in line to get the thing, because there's going to be a limited supply, because they basically, their culture that runs on FOMO and gotcha. I
mean, Japan literally has capsule machines in the
Yes.
streets.
They're
Gacha is life.
literally the country that invented gacha. Like, that is a Japanese word. Like, that's for gachapon, which is the little plastic capsules that come out of the machine. And like, we've that has created a whole, now instead of calling it loot boxes, we call it gacha. But that's what it is. But anyway,
I thought it was called gacha because after 60 pulls of something and you still get nothing but 4-star stuff, you just hear the people making it say gotcha.
I always thought that was where the name came from too.
Yeah.
No, it's a Japanese. It's the vending machine. It's gachapon. I can't remember what it stands for something. And you know how in Japan they love to like shorten it to like the first syllable of like 3 different words, but I can't remember what it stands for. But yeah, that's literally what it. And it's like blind boxes, gachapon, lotteries, and it's like even like getting tickets to events, restaurant reservations. It's like it's always like a lottery. It's always like a chance. Like it's all about scarcity, and it's all about like showing off that you. It's the I got the thing, and like, and there's a huge secondhand market for everything. So it's just expected. Like if you're a true fan, you will get the limited edition thing, no matter what you got to do. And like that's just part of the culture. And in America, we're like, what? I paid to get into the convention. I should be able to get some convention merch. What do you mean everything is sold out before like the first line goes all the way through? And like, oh. And also, like, this was not that far post-COVID, and the COVID protocols were non-existent. It was, they had us dipping our entire upper bodies into ball pits, basically.
Yeah.
They had us handing fishing rods in between each other. They had us slapping buttons on walls that other people have been slapping. There was no mask mandate. There was nothing.
A lot of slapping going on there. Huh?
And that was the first time that I got COVID.
Yeah.
It took me a couple of seconds to realize you didn't just say they had us slapping butts.
It was comical, actually. It was because this was right when the raid with the giant angry carbuncle had just come out. So it was a giant. You know those arcade machines where like the button lights up and you slap it, and then like. Sure. The other buttons light up and it's like a pattern. It was one of those, but it had like a picture of the giant angry carbuncle and it was I guess supposed to simulate raiding. So I did really love the ARG stuff that they had going on there. That was really fun. In the app, if you did all the activities and you talked to like, they had the cosplayers walking around, like answering questions and giving you riddles and stuff. That was really fun. So it was like, if you did all the activities, then you got like free stickers. Like you scanned a QR code and then you could go up to the line for the free stickers was super long too, but you got to go up and be like, look, I did all the things. They'd be like, good job, and give you something. But I think they ran out of those too. But anyway, the activities and everything, that was really fun. But the fact that I don't think there were enough chairs for everyone was kind of crazy. There was like a huge empty space at the back of the room where all of the activities were, but there was like a big empty thing in the middle of that. And like, they just made some, like, if you didn't show up early enough to get a chair, you just had to stand. Like, what? But anyway, it was also, it was LA, or it was Las Vegas in fucking July. So it was literally like things would melt if you left them in the car, or like just a lot of people like stayed in hotels around and like tried to take like the subway train in and just like running from the subway to the convention center. Like, people were dying. It was terrible. Like they were sweating so hard, and it would be like we would get out at like like 10 at night, and it would still be hot as balls. And like me and Ward drove up to Las Vegas because you could do that from Los Angeles, and so we had a car. So we're sitting in our car trying to get out of the parking lot in like full air conditioning, and just watching this huge line of people going up to the subway station out in the heat, and we're just like, oh, thank fuck that's not us.
Well, at any rate, I'm hoping we get an announcement about FanFest soon, just so we kind of know how things stand with that. Depending on my finances, I did just move, so my finances are a little bit locked up right now, but depending on the timing and stuff, will I try for FanFest tickets? Probably.
Yeah, I think even though it's kind of a disaster, I still want to go.
It's one of those things where I went to a lot of BlizzCons, and
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the kind of person who would go to a lot of fan fests, but I would like to go experience one. I'd be cool with experiencing one and say, I got to go to one of them.
I will say, I think I liked FanFest more than BlizzCon, and that was for the themed activities and the games and they had gleaners walking around and they would give you a riddle, and they had the freaking Lopperette dance party. That was so fucking cool. I getting to see all the cosplayers in all these amazing backdrops.
It's just more unified because you're not dealing with 4 or 5 games, you're dealing with one. So I totally get that.
True to that. God, I remember the last BlizzCon I went to, I was freezing the entire time. I think it's because they had so many computers set up to demo stuff. They just kept the air conditioning on mega super blast. So I was literally, I was dressed in sweatpants and I had a Pandaren themed sweater, and I was still hunched down in my little Pandaren hoodie and whoa, cuddled up to Ward the entire time. I'm freezing. I was what's happening? And I'm what? The poor plate mail bikini girls are gonna die. Think of the cosplayers. But
we'll see what comes out from that. There's definitely a lot more for us to talk about between now and the next episode, which will probably again be roughly a month from now. I think we'll probably have 7.3.1 out, so there may be even a little more content to talk about. I haven't even talked about the Alliance raid, and that there's a lot I gotta say about that Alliance raid, having been a Final Fantasy 11 nerd.
I skipped all the story quests because I just wanted. Okay, look, we logged in and it was we had an hour until reset, so we were oh shit, we gotta get our gear. So maybe, I don't know, you could tell me what happened, because I have no idea.
I'll catch up with it. The story is serviceable, but it's not bad. But until then, Megan, where can people find you on the internet?
I am Catmom Megan everywhere. That's one word. Megan as Meatan. You can find me on Twitch. I'm starting streaming again. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me on... actually, if you search for Catmom Megan on Webtoon, you can see my webtoons there. And on Tumblr, I try to post my art there. I've been trying to draw a lot more lately. Because me and Word have gotten into Turtle WoW. And so I have an addiction to drawing World of Warcraft characters. I need help.
We've come full circle. She's back from the WoW train.
I know. At least I'm not giving Blizzard money, okay? Turtle WoW is great. I love all their additions, and I really fucking love High Elves. Oh my god. They get to have cotton candy pink hair. Jesus Christ. It's Megan core. All right?
Brandon, how about you?
I am the BMAT, BMATT, on pretty much most of the social media platforms that, people care about these days. You can catch my writing at yourquestlogIsfull.wordpress.com. It's mostly D&D related, just the way things have shaped up. And since Megan didn't talk about it again, even though she's on the show now, you can catch our D&D podcast plus 5 to hit. We're recording a new episode tomorrow, and frankly, I'm really excited to see what happens, because I did a thing and touched a thing I wasn't supposed to, and now I'm in a freaky library.
Were you not supposed to touch it, though? Or were you?
I probably was.
We'll find out, maybe. If you want to get in contact with me, you can just contact me through the show's Blue Sky account, which is at a podcast reborn. You can also email us at apodcastreborn@gmail.com. We are part of Bonus Roll Productions. You can find out more at bonusroll.gg. The music for the show is provided by Husky by the Geek. A link to his YouTube channel will be included in the show notes. I may be changing up the intro music in the near future. I have ideas of his page. So if you start hearing different stuff for the intro, it is very intentional. Of course, any music that's derivative of Final Fantasy 14 music that you hear on this podcast, it does belong to Square Enix. No copyright infringement is intended. And that is going to do it for episode 71. We will see you in about a month for episode 72. For Megan, for Brandon, and of course for Butterscotch and Bon Bon. And this is Brian Black. Until next time, may your loot rolls be high, your glamour fantastic, and your duties always complete. Brandon?
I just finished getting my Mandervillas weapon completed for this job. So you know what? You get one for this guy. What is a red mage's favorite thing to add to their tacos?
Red sauce?
Salsa verde.
I like it.
I love it.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.